Hey there, this is Workbench from Workbench Quagmire. We're back again, day two. Um, we're going to cover some more free code camp. We're going to start a project that I've always wanted to start. So in yesterday's video, I talked about trying to finish some projects and also using projects to learn. So we're going to start a project. I don't even know how to finish it. I'm not quite sure how to do everything I want to do. As time goes on, I may change what I even want to do with that. So it's basically going to be a personal landing page type deal that would have like a Pomodoro timer that ideally track kind of what I've worked on throughout the day. Maybe a quote of the day type section or something like that. Um, just the thing I kind of envisions, like a single page that has a little bit of this, a little bit of that on it. Maybe in between Pomodoros, it'll flash up news headlines, things like that. Um, I'm not quite sure. So we're going to start that today. I've actually have a GitHub for Workbench Quagmire here, and we will create a project and we will start doing it. So today, I think we're going to go up to 20. Yesterday, we covered headings, H1 to H6, kind of how to use those. So show everyone H1. Um, they should follow a hierarchy. In other words, there shouldn't be H2s inside of H3s, that sort of thing. Because of accessibility, and automated ways of reading the page that may be helpful to people with disabilities and stuff. So um, those things are set up to kind of look at things in logical order. And so we should develop those things in logical order if we're going to put them out on the web. So the other thing we talked about was paragraphs, the P tag or P element, um, images, including how to assign a source and an alt text, again, for accessibility. And if the image doesn't load, it puts the alt text up. We could probably test that out in our little project. And links. Let's see. I think that is about it. Yep, the A tag, the anchor tag. So today we're going to go through about 8 of these. We're going to start the personal dashboard. And then I had mentioned yesterday learning C. So that's going to be a separate set of videos. So I don't know if I'll post those every day. Probably won't. I'm thinking about making one today. But that'll be a separate deal. C is not something you necessarily, if you want to get started learning how to code, you should probably be jumping into. I started with Python. I started with BASIC back in the 80s, but my modern learning and understanding of code and programming was with Python, and then kind of went to JavaScript and C and PHP, just skimming all these things and kind of realized that, hey, this is all very similar, a lot of the same functionality, control structures, and data types, things like that. So we'll probably go over some of that stuff as well. But let's get started here. Back to Free Code Camp. Okay, we'll work on this cat photo app. When we ended, we put the see more and the in our gallery on either side of our link. And so now it's saying add a p tag. We know what that is. To turn see more, blah blah, in our gallery. Yesterday, I think I actually mentioned this. I said there probably should be a p tag here, and that is indeed what we need to do here. So there we go. Check. Yay! We passed. That was kind of a review. Turn the existing cute cats into an anchor element that links to running cats. So that's going to be our source. And so we put the anchor tag, RC equals. Does it say to put an alt in there? So I'm guessing it's going to have us do that in a separate tag step. So, uh-oh, something went wrong. Oh, we use source instead of href. Sources for images, href is for links. There we go. To open the links in a new tab, you can use a target. Target equals blank is what we'll want to do here. So add a target blank to anchor tag. So opens. I tend to put that at the end. So now if we click on cute cats, you want to leave? Sure. Oh, oh, it's not going to take us. That's interesting. You gave us the link. Anyway, code turned green. There we go. 16. Now that you've added the link, you can remove the comment. So that's our comment again. Less than, explanation, dash, dash, whatever you want to put in your comment, dash, dash, greater than. So there's that. Let's move it right along. Step 17. The previous steps, you use an anchor element to turn text into a link. And other types of content you can turn into a link by wrapping an anchor tag. I think I mentioned this too. You can wrap an image into a link. So now it's saying we want to turn our image into a link, surrounding it by necessary element tags. Use this as our source or href. See, I got that backwards again, even though it said right there. So, and now we hover over it and see we cursor changes because we can click on it. And we're moving on. 18. Before any new content, you should make use of a section element to separate the cat photos content from the future content. So, section element is used to define sections in a document, such as chapters, headers, footers, or any other sections in the document. It is a semantic element that helps with SEO and accessibility. So semantic means it has meaning. It means something. So take your H2, P, and A, put it in a section. I left this room here, and I'm not going to bother indenting everything correctly because it will take care of it on its own. And then there's where it needs to end. Closing tag. Go. Green. All right. So it's time to add a new section. So now we're going to do what we just did there. Matter of fact, I'm going to do this. There we go. Now we have a new section. We can't see it over here. Doesn't exist yet. There's no content, so it doesn't change anything here. And last one we're going to do, add an H2 as cat lists. We're getting ready to get into ordered and unordered lists. So, and you can see now that section has content, so the H2 shows up. Of course, if we put a comment here, it probably wouldn't change anything. We can try that out. I don't know what I'm doing here. There we go. Yeah, there's no change. Correctly. And done. All right, we'll pick up at step 21 tomorrow. In the meantime, let's go over here and create our project. You create a repository. If you've never done this before, this is GitHub. So this is something that if you want to be a developer, you should probably learn. I don't do development full time in my job. I do some development, um, and I use GitLab at the place I work. So it's basically the same thing but different. GitHub's kind of the big dog, owned by Microsoft. So a lot of people, when that happened, started going to GitLab because they don't like the idea of large corporations controlling their code. Now, here we go. We have to, first thing, we have the owner. I am the owner. Pi-Hut, let it glow. I don't know why that's showing up in here. So, it was a thing. I never finished that. So maybe that's an unfinished project that's become a quagmire on the workbench. So we're going to call this personal dashboard. We could also use this to track our commits. I use Wakatime, which is a thing that allows you to track kind of what you're working on as far as code. It's an extension. I use it in VS Code. You can install it on Vim and a bunch of other things. So I'm going to make this. Here we go again. Let's see. Personal dashboard. That's going to be our description. So that's all. It's public. We're going to add a README. It'll give us a default README. We don't need a git ignore right now. We can always add one later. If you want to learn more, you can learn more. Um, things like it's pretty interesting time we live in where, if you find your way to a code repository tool like this, they'll actually help you figure these things out. And it's just not, you got to find somebody, some old guy who's been doing it forever to help you along the way. So I'm not going to get into open source licenses, but I think we're going to use the MIT license. It's one I normally, you can learn more about licenses. If you want to go down the YouTube rabbit hole of open source licenses, just start searching in YouTube. I'll see it in a couple of years. So set the main as default branch, change default branches settings. We don't need to do that. We're creating the repository. So there we are. We have a license file that basically is just the MIT license. It says if this is copyright of Workbench Quagmire, and then this is all boilerplate. So software's provided as is. So if you download this and it doesn't work, put a pull request in. I might get around to it. Then a README, which is just this here. You can look at the raw. This is actually in Markdown, so it's just 2 lines. The basic. And so let's open VS Code. Hey, Fusion 360 stuff, I think. Open terminal, maybe. Yeah, there we are. We don't need that much terminal. And we will go back to here and we will copy the URL. Actually, we need to do SSH. Add a new public key. I'll have to figure that out later because I have a public key. I tried to add one and it would not take it. For now, we'll do this. Nope, git clone, not clone. Git clone. So Git is a source code uh, repository tool, SCM, source code management tool, I guess. Um, Developed by Linus Torvalds, the guy who developed Linux, and everybody pretty much uses it these days. I haven't run across anything in probably 10 years that doesn't use Git. So, uh, so we're just going to make a copy of what we have there now, which is just those two files, just the license and the README. And so that's done. Code -R for reuse, and then dot for this directory. We can open this folder. Now you see all the images here I've generated using terrible AI. That's why Quagmire is misspelled in the little profile picture. And I tried to spend some time to get it to spell it correctly this morning, and then it started spelling workbench incorrectly because apparently AI can't do words. So let's make this a little lighter here. And there's yesterday's video. Actually, this isn't what we want to open. Go back down here. Go to CD, personal dashboard, and then there we go. Now we don't have all that garbage in there. So here's the README. It's taking the README. Let's add some notes. Let's to do. Then we can preview this. Maybe. No. Review. There we go. Close this. So preview. Uh, no. Thorough. Timer. See task list maybe. Other things. All right. There's supposed to be a space there. Actually tells what's wrong with it. Because I'm using a markdown linter. So heading should be surrounded by blank lines. Spelling punctuation. It doesn't like it. There we go. And we'll go here. The blank line. Voila. So we've updated our README, and I am going to go to the terminal. I'm not going to ask Copilot to do anything. Let's turn Copilot off. Maybe. Maybe I don't know how to turn Copilot off. Anyway, we're going to ignore Copilot. Nope, 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 nope. We don't want to ask you anything. Go away. Git status. So you can see here, we modified one file. No changes added to commit. To add this so we can update our repo and eventually push this once we get our key situation figured out up to GitHub. We need to git add, and you can just put a dot in this case. It'll do everything. You can put README if you only want to do the one file. We'll do README. There's only one file. So now if you go git status, then it says, hey, there are some changes to be committed, and you modified this file. So now I'm going to go git commit -M for message and say update readme. Boom. So now when we go get status, there's nothing to commit. Everything's clean. So the next thing we need to do is I'm going to just create 3 files. We're just going to create the one. We'll create the other two as we go along. So I mentioned in yesterday's video, HTML is the structure, CSS is the styling, the colors, the shapes, where things sit on the page, and a JavaScript makes that all dynamic. So eventually this project will have all of that, but for right now, we'll just create index.html because that's the name of the file you have to have for the web to your browser to serve it. So there we go. And then you have to have doc type. See, this is where the browser comes in clutch because it's like, hey, you want to do this? And then there's lang equals en for English. Gives you the closing tag already. And we're going to go idle. We'll see what that's all about later on. Body. And so here we go. H1. This personal dashboard. And then we're going to put p tag in here. It's a personal dashboard or things I want to track. So now we've used the H1, the P. Let's go ahead and put an H2 in here. We'll just go ahead and put the H2 in for Pomodoro timer. There we go. We've used H2 now. Let's go see what this looks like. So I have something installed here. Go through all. There's Waka Time, Code Pets. You can get yourself a little pet. Microcontroller stuff, Markdown Linter, Copilot. There we go. Disable. We don't need you. ES50 duck. You can talk to the duck debugger. Where's it at? Where's that? Where's that? ESLint. Talk about linters later on. Memory debugger, prettier. So that's the thing that was helping me get my formatting correct. To do trees, pretty cool. Live server. There we go. So I have live server installed. So it says go live. And so we can actually go live. And here it goes. Here is our web page so far. This is a local web server serving off of the local IP address at the port 5500. You don't have to know what that is right now, but later on it'd probably be pretty handy to understand this sort of things. But here we go. Here's our H1. Here's our paragraph. Here's our H2. So I don't know. Let's see. What other things do we want to put in here? Oh, we can put our main. Um, we won't put any links or images right now. So let's see. Main. By the way, I'm using them key bindings. Seems like it doesn't make any sense. Oh. We also can make this a section. We'll make this a section. Then down here, just to use a comment. Remember, these can be multi-line, so we're going to put some lines in here, and we'll say to do, finish timer, to do, come up with some more ideas, to do, uh, create a layout. So how are we going to lay things out on the page? You notice these are highlighted. And so if we go over here to to-do tree, one of the cool things is you go in here and say, okay, hey, there's a to-do in the README. What's that? Oh, it's the heading. So we can ignore that. But then there's to-do here. And so it's saying, hey, you got these three to-dos. I don't know why it's showing that on a different line. But anyway, it's kind of a cool extension to be able to just leave little hints in your code here of things you need to do or whatever. There's a number of things that will track, like fix or bug, I think, or a couple of them. Let's see. Fix. Nope. Bug. Nope. Anyway, let's go read the document. I only ever really use to do. If it's a bug, I need to fix it. Therefore, it's a to do. If I need to fix something, it's a to do. So anyway, I think that's all for the video for today. So we actually started using some of the things we've learned here. And hopefully we'll continue doing these things and I'll figure out how to do all the stuff I want to do with this and come up with some cool ideas for how to finish up the project. So thanks for watching. I look forward to continuing this with anybody who wants to tag along and see how this stuff sort of works and watch me try to figure out how to all the things I don't know. So the amount I don't know is the ice part of the iceberg under the ocean. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thanks.